Three, two, one. I am recording. Hey, welcome to the Gonzo Experience. So happy to have you on the show. Thank you for sharing your heartbeats with me today. I truly appreciate it. I'm Dave Gonzo Mamano, your host, bringing you just great movers and shakers to help you be the best entrepreneur that you can be. Today, I have on the show this guy. People tell me I have a ton of energy. This guy is like surpassing me in a sprint, in a long distance run, whatever. He's energy is phenomenal. Steve Nudelberg, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I love the whole Gonzo thing. That's a very cool piece of branding. And it's my pleasure to be here. The world is such a unique place now. Accessibility to meeting great people is, if you know how to use the tools, it happens. And so while we're new to each other, I feel like I know you for my whole life.
Absolutely. Guys like us. Well, you're I know you're in Florida now. You're in West Palm Beach, right? But you're originally from Long Island. And so you're, I'm an upstate New York guy, which to you guys is a wholly different continent, but
not New York. It's not New York.
We're in New York State, but we probably have more in common with someone from St. Louis, Missouri, right? So
it is Midwestern up there. I mean, all of that, but all good. I love the spirit, love the town. So great stuff.
Yeah, very good. So, hey, we were this first call out, Natalia Berdikian, who was on my show twice. She connected us. So thank you, Natalia. She's a great energy leadership coach. And so I want to thank her for introducing us. You are not only a man of great success and energy, but you are a coach. You are a coach, a speaker, an author. You're really focused on sales, right? Sales training, sales development. You're a business development expert. You're a keynote speaker. You're a serial entrepreneur. Your specialty within organization centers on creating daily sales processes, sales acceleration and development, social selling, the art of building relationships, and storytelling to make conversations engaging and also create some pipeline development. So that's all about ringing the cash register, right? Everything you're talking about is ringing the cash register. So,
if we don't sell something, it's a hobby.
Exactly. So, that's a great way to say it. Yeah. So, nothing happens until a sale is made, right?
I've been fortunate. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My grandfather, my father, down to me, and now down to my two sons who have joined my business. But I'm an entrepreneur first. I've been fortunate that I have been involved in a ton of different businesses. Most of them failed, which people are like, oh, really? I go, that's where all the learning happens. So, you don't need to hit a home run every time at the plate. If you do it once or twice, people like to pay attention to what you do. There's no secret. I've been fortunate that I'm a hard worker. Like you said, I have high energy. I pay attention to clues, and success leaves clues. If you look around you, the clues are all there. You got to pay attention, create a process to do it on a daily basis, as you said. And so I've been in lots of different categories. The last iteration of my company, we sold 6 years ago. And somebody asked me to come talk to their group. It was the largest privately held bank in the state of Florida. And I was like, I don't really do that. And he goes, no, you'd be great. Well, okay. What do you want me to talk about? He goes, well, obviously you've been really successful. I'd love to hear your story or your process. I think my people would be inspired by that. So what I did was basically write down the 27 rules that for me governed my life, governed the way I raised my kids, governed every employee and every partner and everybody around me. 27 rules for leaders and influencers. And I gave that presentation. I believe in 90-day plans. I don't know. The bank asks for more, but if you can't make it out in 90 days, nothing happens. So I gave them a roadmap for 90 days, and the senior vice president called me back. He goes, I don't know what you said to those people, but the place is on fire. Will you come back? Will you do this? Come into the, I displaced the people that were coaching them at the time. And so 2 sidebars to that. Number one is that presentation became my book, Confessions of a Serial Salesman. That's what people wanted to hear. It's very process driven. Natalia, she's the sweetheart. I sent her my book. She read it and did a big thing on Facebook about it and said it was one of her favorite books ever because it's all chunks and kernels of things you can do. That's number one. Number two is the world I live in, the people who were, and I don't want to make this a general statement, but it obviously is. There are lots of people in sales training and sales coaching that sucked at what they did. There's no barrier. Oh, I'm a coach. So now I'm going to tell you everything I did shitty and I'm going to get paid to teach it to you. So one of the ways I promote myself is a sales doer. Every single thing that I offer to the sales universe, I do. It's tested, it works. So I have absolute confidence that when I work with somebody, it's like me doing it with them, it works. And the look on the CEOs that I coach, the teams, the personalities, the entrepreneurs, when it does work and it works relatively quick, because again, I'm a 90-day guy. Every one of my engagements starts with the first 90 days. If I can't move the needle in the first 90 days, why would you keep me around longer? So when it works, which is usually about the 45 or 60-day mark, oh my God, this shit works. And I go, that's why our business is on fire. So I think, and I'm talking a lot, I want to let you in.
No, it's all about you, man. It's all about you.
I think the world is stuck, or let's talk pre-pandemic, was stuck in a process that doesn't work anymore. People using emails and voicemails and knocking on doors. Knocking on doors is done. Nobody wants you to walk in cold. Will that come back? Probably not. Why would somebody do that? The statistics on email and voicemail are very low adoption rates, yet people say, come in, let me train you on the features and benefits of my product. Now go call, go do, nobody answers their phone. Do you answer your phone?
Only if I know who it is and I want to talk
Correct.
to them.
Correct. Exactly. Which means you don't answer your phone.
Yeah.
So we have modernized the sales process, put it into a place that's actionable. Anybody could do it. The success is not necessarily based on any one type of person. Like you say, oh, you're a born salesman. If you want to be good at something, Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours, do the work, practice the reps, boom, you come up with a process that works. And so it's not magic, it's not voodoo. I think most of the people that we've come in contact with have been pitched on the fact that there's some kind of silver bullet. Oh, if I just use LinkedIn, I'm going to make $1 million. Ridiculous. Everything is a part of a plan. And so we're having the time of our lives. Access to people like you has never been easier, with people working from home and wanting full-on engagement. And to see my son, 34 years old, guy who spent 10 years coaching college football, actually run the company and not run it like, Dad, I'm coming to work for you. Could you support me? He's like, Dad, I'm going to push your ass over and get on the wheel here. And so it's been amazing. Thank you.
That's gotta be so gratifying. And it's so cool. You said your grandfather, your father, you, and now your son, all entrepreneurs. And I love that. So I got a lot of questions, but first, back up a little bit. What did your grandfather do to
So
be
the family business was in ladies shoe retail. And I don't think there's ever any better training than retail back in the day.
Right.
High end fashion retail, Nordstrom type training where people spent a lot of money, expected high levels of service. The salespeople that worked in my dad's and my grandfather's stores were dressed to the nines, mostly men, but it was an exciting, fascinating, cool business that I got to watch growing up. And at the dinner table, that's all we talked about, man. And if you didn't pipe up, you never got a word in, man. So between eating and talking, and it was always a very fun environment. And I love the way that my parents and whenever my grandparents came over, included me in the dialogue. That I wasn't just like gazing. I would be like, I don't understand. and they would tell me. And so I'm an author in another book. I don't know if you know the guy Scott McGregor. He's an awesome entrepreneur out of Connecticut.
Yeah.
He owns a company called Something New. He put together a book called The Standing O. And the first book, he's now done 4 iterations, but the first book was 52 entrepreneurs, celebrities, sports athletes who he asked, who would you give a standing O to? My chapter was giving a standing O to my grandfather, because when I left college, I wanted to get into family business. And I thought I was going to work for my dad. My dad said, "Oh, great, come on in." Blah, 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 blah. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm giving you to your grandfather." And I was like, "What?" Like, "I want to work with you, Dad."
You're selling shoes.
Dad.
You're selling shoes.
No. You're going to go work for him. And he was an amazing human being, the best salesperson I'd ever met in my life. And he, hard love. He didn't teach me with like, you want a trophy for not winning. He taught me, he busted my balls and got me to the point where he looked me straight in the face. He says, "Every time you stand up, I made you better." And so I had that gift of understanding it. I had that gift of building. I knew how to build a business. So I've been a builder, my entire life. I'm not scared. I've had unbelievable wealth, and I've had where I couldn't sleep because I couldn't make payroll. Like,
Right.
I was like, I don't know where we were getting our next meal from, but all in the same life. And I credit the training I got. And then, so retail training was, you got thrown out on the floor and you had to make a relationship with somebody. Still the same rules. People don't buy from people they don't know or like.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, if I don't like you or you don't like me, there's no shot I'm on your podcast. There's no shot.
Right.
There's a zillion people you can pick. There's no shot. So it starts with, creating that trust, that commonality. Sales went away from it. And the biggest driver of sales right now is not selling. The word sales is a derivative of a Scandinavian word, which means to serve. So if you legitimately get up every day, taking whatever gift you have and sharing it to the point where you'll serve people with it, you will not believe how it boomerangs back. But the people who are still stuck pitching, like, I don't pitch anybody. People engage our services after they know us and they know what to do. And they ask, "Hey, what does it look like if we work together?" Heaven forbid you ever saw anybody on my team pitching, "Hey, you want to buy this bottle of water?" Like, no, I don't, So the iterations of that with social media and all the ways that you can contact people, I must get 30 invites a day from people who are in the finance business, who want to handle my money, that don't spell my name right, don't know me. Like, I'm like, seriously, someone is training you to do this. This is what they consider good, I call them RPOs, revenue producing opportunities. They think that's a revenue producing opportunity. I'm not even responding to them, let alone trusting them with my money, my trusted money. So
You're fortunate.
It fascinates me what people are willing to accept. And we accept nothing less than, high moral integrity, real, genuine, and authentic connection. And then let the rest take care of itself. So it's, we're not for everybody, but the ones who work with us, top to bottom, and generally what happens is the CEO starts working with us, and then shortly thereafter they go, "This is unbelievable. We want to roll it out team wide." So we've done it for most of the major sports teams, who, especially when the pandemic happened, they were like, "What do we do?" What do we do, man? We prospect our asses off.
Yeah. Well, you took my tagline. I say my tagline is Dave Mamano. I'm not for everybody, right? So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So you wanted nuggets.
Yeah.
One of the rules in the book, the 3 best words in sales, doesn't matter what product, price, or service you're working with, is number 1, most sales organizations, the metric for success is meetings and appointments. all right, wait a minute. Meetings, there's like too many meetings to begin with. First thing we do when we get an organization is stop all the meetings. And then appointments. So with doctors and attorneys and dentists, I don't want an appointment. So the first word that we know that is a game changer, and your audience will have it, is visit. Just change it to visit. Hey Dave, when can you and I visit? I'm going to be in the hood. When can we visit? Tomorrow. Hey, how about a virtual coffee? We can visit. Nobody brings brochures to a visit. Second word is, and this is to your credit, not for everybody, is that we're not a fit for everybody. If I hit 3 out of every 10 times I'm at the plate, I'm in the Hall of Fame. So I know it going in that 7 out of the 10 people I'm going to be in front of are not a fit for me. I let them know that up front. So Dave, I want to visit with you. When we visit, I want to figure out if we're a fit, because we're not a fit for everybody. People go like, what do you mean? How could I not be a fit? How could I be? They're all jonesed about, oh, I might not be in that club, because ultimately, if we're a fit, then I can deliver value to you the same way I do it to what would be 3 pieces of social credibility. The New York Yankees, the Pepsi, and some ice cream company, whatever recognizable content that you truly do business with, because then the clients, the dance changed. Now they have to make a decision. Are they a fit with those types of companies, or are they not a fit? And I want to know up front. So I don't waste any time with people who just don't get it. And there's plenty of them.
Yep. So you said 3 things: a visit, not an appointment.
Right.
You're not for everybody.
Fit. So it's visit, fit, and value.
Yeah. And then the value. I love that. That's great.
And I give real stories in the book. Every rule, there's 27 rules. Every rule has a story about it. How did I use it? Where did I come up with it? Real-time testimonial of people you might recognize. Lots of the heritage of my company was in sports. We represented athletes and coaches, and I learned so much from that world, that the most successful people are process driven. We don't step out of process, man. This is what Tom Brady is all about, process.
Yeah.
And then with
we say, let me interrupt you just for a second. We say up here, we say Josh Allen, but go ahead.
Okay, that's fair. I'm a Jet fan. We don't have anybody to say. It's like,
you will someday.
What we do is next draft pick.
Yeah.
But when you look at Tom Brady, there's an expectation that he's going to win, and that comes from being uniquely prepared. He's unbelievably prepared, and has been, his whole career. So all of my rules, from the minute you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed, are all meant to be mindset changers. First rule in the book is wake up early. So I don't know anybody that's really successful.
What time do you get up, Steve?
So early is nebulous. It's different to different people. Oh, I work overnight. So early is fine. Okay. For me, I wake up at 3 a.m. every day.
Really?
And from 3 to 5, I do more than most people will do in a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
But I programmed myself that way. I didn't start waking up at 3. I want to do more. I realized I controlled the clock. Now, you and I are doing this podcast in the afternoon. I'm done after you. We're done. So I go 3 to 3. It's a 12-hour day. And the way you manage your day will dictate your success. Best coaches in sports know how to use the clock better. Clock management. Yeah. Same thing in sales and in life.
So that I love that, by the way, and I'm very impressed. But so the next question is, that I think a lot of the Gonzo family is going to ask as well. What time do you go to bed?
Number one question. Pre-pandemic, I was on the road just about every week, speaking somewhere or working with a group. Number one question always was when you go to bed. And my answer, not to be, sort of, kitschy about it, but my answer is when I'm tired. If I'm tired at 8 o'clock, I go to bed. If I'm out and I'm entertaining clients, which I will be, great. Then I go to bed when I get home, so I don't manage the numbers. I manage my internal clock. I haven't used an alarm clock in 25 years. 3 o'clock is when I've trained myself. It's all conditioning to get up. And then I'm very process driven between 3 and 5. Number one is there's nothing inbound. Oh, what a treat. It's quiet. There's usually nobody up and I could get a lot done. And then my messages are the first one that you get in your inbox in LinkedIn and, and there's no substitute for first.
Yep. Yep. Oh, that's fantastic. So the name of your book again, tell everybody about it.
Confessions of a Serial Salesman. It was basically a legacy piece that some people ask me, why'd you write the book? I have right now a 5-year-old grandson. I wrote the book and published it 2 years ago. I wrote it so that he would know who I was without anybody having to tell him, here, this is what your grandfather was, what he stood for, and proudest moments for me. And the foreword is written by my older son while he was coaching at, I think, Cincinnati. And he specifically talks about, this is how he grew up. The rules were, this is how we show up, boys. This is not, I see, I go to the field and I see kids running around like lunatics. It's unacceptable behavior to me, man. There's a discipline and a way to show up. And, they wound up coming to lots of sporting events with me. And, that discipline and that coaching and that teaching early on, I got a message today from a guy on LinkedIn. My standard thing is I go back to him and say, hey, thanks for the invite. Can you remind me how we know each other? He came back and he goes, back in the day at the YMCA, you coached Jake, my son, and my son was on that team. And we still use some of the coaching that you did back then. And so I'm going to have a coffee with him next week. I can't wait to hear the story. But you make impact on people. And that's the first thing. If you do that and you do it at scale, the money flows.
Yeah. So that's super fantastic. I want to get into LinkedIn a little bit because I like how you're using LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, unfortunately, is becoming a very cheesy place. A lot of what you're saying is Zig Ziglar stuff, show me that you know me, right? And I get a ton of stuff on LinkedIn that right off the bat, they're spewing these, you need these, do you need these services? You don't even know me. I have no use in the world for those services, right? Or I got, this is a new one I got last week, and I almost wanted to reach out and give the guy a slap. I don't know the guy from a Hill of Beans, right? And
unbelievable.
And he sends me a message and he says, oh, David, I forgot. Have I connected you to Walter yet? And obviously he's trying to suck me in to ask who Walter is, I'm like, I
mean, that's the bait and switch. That's I'm going to catch you with some gimmick. Those days are over. It's just
very
unfortunate.
Cheesy.
I mean, I have people who will send me an invite. I'll send them my standard message back, which anybody who's taken our learn LinkedIn like a pro. We have thousands of people around the world who have taken it and have had real success with it. Will tell you it's that same message. It changed my early success on LinkedIn. Hey, thanks, David. Really appreciate the invite. Can you remind me how we know each other? Yeah. And I'll have people come back and go, we don't. I'm like, seriously? Like, why would you even start this thing?
I know. At least get creative. We haven't met yet, but right. When we do, you're going to love me, or you might have a little bit more respect, right?
So the show that we do live on LinkedIn every single morning is called the Daily Huddle. And on Fridays, we do the Hall of Fame and the Wall of Shame as it pertains to LinkedIn. And it's one of the most popular segments we do. It's a live show. It's all about sales and motivation and music. And that segment gets unbelievable reviews because we're teaching people, you look like a moron doing this stuff, Right. Hi, Steve. I'd like to talk to you about my real estate product. I'm not in the real estate business. What did you miss?
Right. Yeah. Did you even read my profile? Right.
Right. Did you spend any time or spell my name wrong or just crazy?
Yeah. So see, before we go, so let's pretend that I am a brand new business owner.
Okay.
Or, for the sake of example, too, maybe in a brand new sales job. But your advice, how am I going to spend my first 90 days to get that flywheel turning?
So the big paradigm shift is everybody thinks that marketing is advertising. I'm going to market my business. I have a budget and I'm going to buy every flyer and every newspaper and whatever. And that's the way I'm going to socialize my business. Done. So the paradigm shift is you matter. Whoever you are, who you are matters more than what you do. So if you're willing to market you, the conduit to your business is through you. That's never been before. It used to be, hi, I'm with IBM. Oh, right this way. Oh, and you're Steve. Oh, great. And if you left, they plugged Fred in. Didn't matter. That's not happening anymore. Think about the things that you buy and consume yourself. You buy them from people that you have a relationship with. My banker's changed banks 4 or 5 times. I couldn't even tell you what bank we do business with. I do business with my banker. So my message to everybody is, if you understand the tools and you understand how to market yourself, who you are, what you do, why you do it, who you do it with, through your network, spins back right at you. And when, and we're laser focused on teaching people how to do that, when it happens, they're like, this was unbelievable. And I go, and for the most part, the investment is the time and the energy that do it. People are fearful. Oh, why do I matter? So I'll leave you with one story if I have time.
Yeah, please.
Specific to this. I won't name the client, but we had an opportunity to talk to a client about helping them rework their entire strategy as it pertained to social media and their salespeople. And it's a very big organization. And the young lady I got on the Zoom call with, I said, hey, before we get started, let me ask you a question. Do you like tuna fish? And she looks at me like I've got 3 heads. Like, what? Everybody else on the call is like, all right, what's going on here?
Right. Yeah.
I said, no, I'm serious. Do you like tuna fish? She said, yeah, I do. I said, well, how do you like your tuna fish? You like a lot of mayonnaise, a little mayonnaise, you like celery, I put a little mustard, black pepper, does your husband like it as well? What bread do you? Boom, 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 boom. We got into a 10-minute conversation about tuna. And I said, you and I will forever know that we started our relationship because of our commonality over tuna fish.
Right.
And she goes, wow, I got it. I said, it has nothing to do with your business. It has everything to do with, I like cars, guns, wine, running, whatever your passions are. If you align with other people's passion, you have instant tribe.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. So that's great. And so you are like me. I think that's why we get along so well. You are a storyteller, right? And people don't want to be sold anything, right? They would much rather hear a great story about how it's going to help them, right? And maybe an example of a story of how your product helps somebody, and just make it interesting, engage them, right? Make it memorable, right?
The other side of that is I don't want to do business with everybody. Like I can tell across the way that if somebody, doesn't value the money that something costs, they're like, well, it's only 30 minutes. Yeah, well, I worked for 40 years to be able to do that in 30 minutes.
Right.
Like, you don't want to pay for that? Fine. I don't need to have a conversation with you. So I think part of what happens is you gain a confidence that if you do it right and you get up at the plate every time the same way, the right pitch will come.
Yep. I love it. Steve Nudelberg, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you sharing your heartbeats with us. And thank you for working 8 minutes late. It's 3:08 right now, my time. And you're done. I put you a little bit of overtime today. So
overtime is good, man. It was really fun. I love your energy. I love what you do with your audience, and keep coming up with new ideas. And, please keep me in mind anytime you need some conversation about what I'm passionate about.
Definitely will. Hey, Steve, one last thing. If our Gonzo family wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
So once you understand the spelling of my last name, because, you should see some of the mail we get. It's always funny, Nudelberg, So if you understand that it's Noodle, Nudel, Berg, Nudelberg, anywhere on social media, it's Nudelberg or at Nudelberg on Twitter. It's at Nudelberg on LinkedIn at Steve Nudelberg. So if you understand that, it would be hard pressed not to find me, because I really have figured out how to use the tools, which is why I can teach it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Steve Nudelberg, Nudel Berg. Thank you so much for being on the show. Truly appreciate it. And I wish you continued massive success.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to thank the Gonzo family for listening. Thank you too for sharing your heartbeats with us. Make sure to like us on social media, rate, review us, all that good stuff. We're here with a new show every Wednesday morning. Hope to see you and have you hear us next Wednesday. Have a great day and make sure to stay awesome.